1. Assessments.
Espionage.
2. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war. 3. Defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. 4. Crime. Crime against the United States of America, the act or practice of spying or of using spies to obtain secret information, as about another government or a business competitor. 5. Strategic assessments, the art of war. Master Sun, therefore measure in terms of 5 things, use these assessments to make comparisons, and thus find out what the conditions are. The 5 things are, the way, the weather, the terrain, the leadership, and discipline. 6. The way. Master Sun, the way means inducing the people to have the same aim as the leadership so that they will share death and share life, without fear of danger. 7. Weather. Master Sun, the weather means the seasons equals favorability. Gao Gao, the rules of the ancient political, military, state that operations should not be carried out in winter or summer, out of concern for the people. 8. Terrain. Master Sun, the terrain is to be assessed in terms of distance, difficulty, or ease of travel, dimension, and safety. Zhang Yu, in any military operation, it is important first know the lay of the land. When you know the distance to be traveled, then you can plan whether to proceed directly or by a circuitous route. When you know the difficulty or ease of travel, then you can determine the advantages of infantry or mounted troops. When you know the dimensions of the area, then you can assess how many troops you need, many or few. When you know the relative safety of the terrain, then you can discern whether to do battle or disperse. 9. Leadership. Master Sun, leadership is a matter of intelligence, trustworthiness, humaneness, courage, and sternness. Lao Cao, the general has these 5 virtues. The condition of being chaste. Has virtue, has purity, has decency, has modesty, has virtuousness, has a particularly efficacious, good, or beneficial quality, advantage. Dash. Master Sun, leadership is a matter lacking in intelligence, trustworthiness, humaneness, courage, and sternness. Lao Cao, the general lacking these 5 virtues. The condition of being chaste, lacks virtue, lacks purity, lacks decency, lacks modesty, lacks virtuousness. Lacks a particularly efficacious, lacks good, or lacks beneficial quality, disadvantage. 10. Leadership. Master Sun, leadership is a matter of intelligence, trustworthiness, humaneness, courage, and sternness. Lao Cao, a general should have these 5 virtues. Virtues is to be moral excellence and righteousness full of goodness. An example or kind of moral excellence. Chastity, especially in a girl or woman. The condition of being chaste. Virtue, purity, decency, modesty, virtuousness. A particularly efficacious, good, or beneficial quality, advantage. Effective force or power. Virtues. Theology. The 5th of the 9 orders of angels. Obsolete. Manly courage, valor. 11. Leadership. Strategic assessments. As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. Thought and Character 1. The aphorism, as a man thinketh in his heart so is he, not only embraces the whole of a man's being, but is so comprehensive as to reach out to every condition and circumstance of his life. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. As the plant springs from, and could not be without, the seed, so every act of a man springs from the hidden seeds of thought, and could not have appeared without them. This applies equally to those acts called spontaneous and unpremeditated as to those, which are deliberately executed. Act is the blossom of thought, and joy and suffering are its fruits, thus does a man garner in the sweet and bitter fruitage of his own husbandry. Thought in the mind hath made us what we are, by thought was wrought and built. If a man's mind hath evil thoughts, pain comes on him as comes the will the ox behind. If one endure in purity of thought, joy follows him as his own shadow sure. 12. Thought and character 2. Man is a growth by law, and not a creation by artifice, and cause and effect is as absolute and undeviating in the hidden realm of thought as in the world of visible and material things. A noble and God-like character is not a thing of favor or chance, but is the natural result of continued effort in right thinking, the effect of long-cherished association with God-like thought. An ignoble and bestial character, by the same process, is the result of the continued harboring of groveling thoughts. Man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thought he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. By the right choice and true application of thought, man ascends to the divine perfection. By the abuse and wrong application of thought, he descends below the level of the beast. Between these two extremes are all the grades of character, and man is their maker and master. 13. Thought and character 3. Of all the beautiful truths pertaining to the soul which have been restored and brought to light in this age, none is more gladdening or fruitful of divine promise and confidence than this, that man is the master of thought, the molder of character, and the maker and shaper of condition, environment, and destiny. As a being of power, intelligence, and love, and the lord of his own thoughts, man holds the key to every situation, and contains within himself that transforming and regenerative agency by which he may make himself what he wills. Man is always the master, even in his weakest and most abandoned state, but in his weakness and degradation he is the foolish master who misgoverns his household. When he begins to reflect upon his condition, and to search diligently for the law upon which his being is established, he then becomes the wise master, directing his energies with intelligence, and fashioning his thoughts to fruitful issues. Such is the conscious master, and man can only thus become by discovering within himself the laws of thought, which discovery is totally a matter of application, self-analysis, and experience. 14. Thought and character 4. Only by much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained, and man can find every truth connected with his being, if he will dig deep into the mine of his soul, and that he is the maker of his character, the molder of his life, and the builder of his destiny, he may unerringly prove, if he will watch, control, and alter his thoughts, tracing their effects upon himself, upon others, and upon his life and circumstances, linking cause and effect by patient practice and investigation, and utilizing his every experience, even to the most trivial, everyday occurrence, as a means of obtaining that knowledge of himself which is understanding, wisdom, power. In this direction, as in no other, is the law absolute, that he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened, for only by patience, practice, and ceaseless import unity can a man enter the door of the temple of knowledge. 15. Discipline. Master Son, discipline means organization, chain of command, and logistics. Metyeokan, organization means that the troops must be grouped in a regulated manner. Chain of command means that there must be officers to keep the troops together and lead them. Logistics means overseeing supplies. Master Son has heard of these 5 things. Those who know them prevail, those who do not know them do not prevail. The condition of being chaste. 1. Virtue, 2. Purity, 3. Decency, 4. Modesty, 5. Virtuousness. 16. Assessments. Jiu, when your strategy is deep and far-reaching, then what you gain by your calculations is much, so you can win before you even fight. When your strategic thinking is shallow and nearsighted, then what you gain by your calculations is little, so you lose before you do battle. Much strategy prevails over little strategy, so those with no strategy cannot but be defeated. Therefore it is said that victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. 17. Victorious warriors win first and then go to war.